G'day guys, thanks for visiting That Journal Guy. My name is Richard and it has been a few weeks since my last video. So I wanted to share a new journaling chapter in my life, exploring the Recollections traveler's size notebook from Michaels as my current active journal. So if you haven't been here before, That Journal Guy is basically a guy's take on journaling. One of many guys. I'm not the only one out there, but there are less guys out here than women that are doing journaling. So this is my own take on trying to use journaling as part of my life for my own well-being, as well as for tracking certain things to make sure that I'm sort of on track with life in general. But since my last video, it has been 3 weeks instead of the normal 2 weeks that I would normally post. And I literally fell off the wagon, if that's the right term, as far as journaling is concerned. So after I'd finished all those November spreads and was prepared to record everything throughout my days, I completely fell off my journal, and it just wasn't working for me. And it's interesting that not that getting a new journal is the solution to getting back into journaling, although it could be an excuse for us to buy more journals, as stationary journal addicts that we are. But I mentioned in November that that we have to find a system that sort of works for us. And although my system works in theory, the actual practice of it was harder than I realized. And there was a comment made on 2 videos ago that, if I was doing that much journaling, I wouldn't have enough time working. And I think what I was trying to do was more than I realized, because trying to record everything and then missing a day is really daunting. It's and even if I was using my notes app to catch up or to keep up with my days and then trying to record that after, it seemed to lose something in the translation, because it just didn't feel as fresh, and I wasn't sure of the importance of it a few days later. And it made me rethink, what am I trying to accomplish with this journal? And I'm actually really thankful that I ran into a deal on my Facebook feed for Craftsy. Now, if you've seen that, this is not a sponsored video, but I'm just sort of saying how I got back into journaling is that I actually stumbled upon Craftsy as a special. At the time, it was $5 for the year, so that I can access the videos online, but you still have to pay to buy the videos so you can watch them offline, which is not a big deal for me. I'm watching things online anyway, so it doesn't matter. But there was one course called Unlocking, I have the notes here, Unlocking My Planner Potential. And this Craftsy instructor was really, really helpful in reminding me why it works when you journal a certain way. And the system can't be just sort of something that sounds like a great idea. It has to really contribute to your life, and it has to sort of be more about, for me anyway, it has to be more about gathering data than actually recording it for the sake of recording it. And recording it for the sake of recording it can really get tiresome after a while. It can be a grind, really, to just keep up with a journal in general. I mean, I think the reason why we fall out of it, or at least the reason I fell out of it, was that I was losing the point. Why was I recording it all the time? Why was I recording all the things I was spending? Was it really adding up to anything? Or was it just giving me a reason to beat myself up that I spent too much money? I wasn't recording household things because I didn't do them. Was I just giving myself a hard time for not doing it? Oh, why am I recording this anyway, right? So I have a new way of journaling, a new perspective, I guess, as far as journaling. And I want to share those points. I actually wrote them down as my first page of a new journal, as notes to sort of remind me as a person on this journey to journal, what it is that will work better for me. And I just want to share those tips. Now, I don't want to sort of give away all the content for Craftsy, because they would encourage you to take into the membership and see it for yourself. But it has since gone down from $5 to $2.50 on Facebook. So it's too bad that I didn't wait a little bit longer to get the $2.50 deal, because I think it happened only a couple days after I signed up for $5. But at $5 a year, it's not a big deal. And I can cancel after the year. So I thought, it'd be good to try, right? So I would recommend, Craftsy, just as not a plug, but more of like it helped me, so maybe it'll help you if you're in some sort of rut. But I also want to do a brief review about the Recollections Traveler's Notebook. It happened to be a buy one, get one half off kind of sale. So I actually bought some brushes, water brushes, which I'm really excited to show you what has happened in there. And the brushes were $15 Canadian. And this was $15 Canadian, but because it was a buy one get one for half, I got this for only $7.50, which is really good. So I think that it was a good reboot for me to buy these things just and approach it in a different way, as you'll see on my tabletop. So thank you again for tuning into That Journal Guy. I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Let's switch to the tabletop and see how I'm resetting for my journaling journey. So here we are with the Recollections Traveler's Notebook from Michaels. So this notebook is about 22 centimeters by 11 centimeters. And I found that important because Michaels sells the Traveler's Notebook, but they don't actually sell the inserts. So AliExpress actually has a 210 millimeter by 110 millimeter insert, which happens to be exactly this size. So this is a faux leather cover with the elastic to keep it shut. So this is the way it looks when it's shut. And the nice thing about it is that it came with a nice craft insert, like a cardboard insert, and then 2 blank notebooks. These are 60 pages or 30 pages folded in half. So it's 60 pages if you use individual sides. And I've split it up so that my pardon me, my pocket is in the middle, and then I've got my notebook on one side on each side of it. Okay, so I haven't cracked open anything or done anything with the second notebook. I've only started with the first one. And I was actually a little worried about doing anything in this particular book because it does have blank pages. So how well was I going to write in it? How well was I going to be able to use this? And actually, I'm thankful to say that my test pages really turned out awesome. So basically, I'm exploring a watercolor style decorating, and I'm actually thanking another on Craftsy. Actually, there was another course where you actually get to learn about urban sketching, and she uses water brushes. Now she's using the Pentel Aqua Brush, and it's the first time I've ever heard of a water brush in the first place. But can you see the water moving in there? Okay, so basically this container on the bottom is actually filled with water, and it actually bleeds into a tip. So when I won't squeeze it right now, but if you squeeze the handle, it actually forces water through the nib, and then into the brush bristles. So this is actually a Recollections brand. Whoops, I don't want to wreck my tip here. This is a Recollections brand brush, and this is actually one of 4. So this is the medium brush tip. There's actually a small brush tip, a large one, and then a chiseled brush tip. And yeah, so there's 4 brushes in the set for 15 Canadian, and I don't see any difference other than maybe the brush tip would be a little bit better quality on the Pentel one. But because I'm just starting out with watercolors, I thought, well, I don't really need the best pen yet. I just sort of want to see whether or not this actually works for me at all. And I wasn't even sure how well it was going to work in the Traveler's Notebook, but I couldn't believe how well that these pages, as thin as they are, actually stood up to my watercoloring. And you can sort of see here how I actually doodled. This is not a doodle. This is actually a stamp from Dollarama. This is my BB-8 stamp, and I've sort of Christmasized them with a little hat. But I actually put the some orange super tips on the paper first, or actually on the brush directly, and then I just sort of rubbed it into the area where I was going to stamp it, and then I stamped it. So it wasn't exact, but I kind of like that messy watercolory kind of look to it. And then these trees are basically gel pen grids, like little frames, and then I put a splash of color on the brush, and then I just sort of filled it in. And I put the dots on the paper there, and I actually used the water brush to smear it a little bit to make a faux star kind of thing. And so I was really trying to experiment how to get this nice watercolor look to the page without actually, doing it on a separate page and pasting it in. I really wanted to see if I can actually do it in the page directly, and I actually have succeeded with this top one. And now I'm trying to remember whether or not this is actually super tips combined with the water brush, and I think it worked out really well. And then I'm also using the stamp set that I found at Walmart a long time ago. This was back in the summer. as well as this Artco ink, and that's what I use for my stamp up here. And then, if you recall, on my Instagram, I also found these awesome icon stamps, which I'm using for my Bujo badge system. I'm actually incorporating them into this journal, so you can sort of see the household badge there that I earned, as well as my family time and my Bujo time, and also a little bit of a spending highlight. So this was actually a good test page to actually do a mock log page as well as a swatch page to sort of see, oh, here's my work badge, to sort of see how could I lay this out, and sort of like, how do I make these date lines? How do I make these titles and stuff like that? And how do I doodle in the bottom? Well, on the next page, I actually did more experimentation. This was actually a really good coloring. I put the color on the page first, and then I used the water brush to smear it in and blend it. That worked, but I found that it was a really dark, and this Artco ink doesn't stamp well on top of a dark color. Then I also started trying to use my water-based Craftsco markers from Dollarama and try to put those on the page and smear it, and they seem to work a little bit better for that watercolory look. So I'm using this watercolory look for my titles, and then just using my stamps to designate the kind of entry that I'm making underneath that title. I'm also using a I don't know if you can see that in these test titles. You can sort of see the white highlight as a mock shadow. I'm using the Jelly Roll 8mm white pen for that. So you can sort of see my Bujo badge system sort of reinvented in this, using the mail icon and the blue dots for work, the heart and the dark green for my family, the house and the orange dot for household stuff, the red dot with the dollar sign for money, the pencil and the yellow dots for my Bujo, the cutlery and the purple dots for my intake. The phone is actually going to be my recreational time, so noteworthy play and viewing. And then my weights, or my and the light green dot for self-care and working out. So those are going to be the badges that I use in this new notebook. And so if I go to the first page, my first page is not actually a journaling page per se, it's actually a good note reference. And I thought that this would be a great way to put notes into my journal and remind me this is why I'm doing this. So unlocking your planner potential on Craftsy is what is the course. And I won't do a close-up of all my notes because I don't want you to see how sloppy my writing is, but the general layout is this. There's going to be a date line on top. That'll just sort of designate, this is the date, and I just like putting that extra line with a little color just to sort of give it a splash to start the day. So the following pages actually have the date line ready, as well as a little Christmas tree ready to color and decorate. And it doesn't have to be green with red balls and a star and then some snow. I can make it any color I want to. So I'm actually looking forward that I have a little bit of a tree to decorate on every page. So I don't know if it'll be a day a page. I don't know if it's going to be 2 days a page. It just sort of depends. But I'm sort of returning to those journaling roots where in my Dollarama journal, I just sort of threw a page and then turned the page and threw another page on. And yeah, so if I have a tracker page, I'm going to put it on the next page. If I have a journaling page, like a page about my day, then I'm just going to start that page with that day. So it's going to be a little bit more, not chaotic, but just sort of like sequentially, I'm just doing another page for something else. But I do have plans for this journal. So as far as sharing what I learned, to get into my journaling, some of the main tips was taking stock of your life. What is it exactly that you want to keep track of? As far as why are you journaling? There has to be a reason why you're doing this. Whether it's to keep organized or to track things, the tracking has to have a purpose. And doing this with purpose makes much more sense than just sort of doing it because, quote unquote, right? So take stock of your life and what kind of things do you want to track of, and what kind of life are you sort of aspiring to that your journal will help you be a tool for that. The next big point that I was going to mention is that what kind of style do you have as far as journaling? You don't have to be artistic, but you don't have to be minimalistic either to be effective in your journal. Your journal should be a fun experience. So I mean, exploring your style, whether it's color or not color, how you visualize time. Do you find it just like a bunch of pages, or do you have to have blocks of pages already in place for your days ahead? It's those kind of things that you have to consider as far as journaling. Then, do you have any list ideas or tracker ideas? I actually managed to find 4, 6, 8 different list ideas that I want to put in, as well as half a dozen trackers that I want to put in. And I was wondering, how was I going to put trackers in here because it's blank? There's no dots. Do I draw a grid myself? And then I realized another big point is like, oh, you know what? I actually found printed trackers online. And they're just like these tiny little things that I can actually paste into this journal. And there's no reason why I can't paste things into the journal. So this next page here might actually be December 1st, and I'm going to just start this as a tracker page and put all my trackers, all 6 trackers on one page. And that's actually great because then it's just on one page. And if I need to start another tracker page, I'll just start another tracker page. But I'm going to have trackers here, and then this will be my journal of the day. And that's another thing that I wanted to sort of point out with my journal here, that in my test page that I put at the back of this first notebook, I actually did some highlights for the day. November 30th was Monday. It was actually a discretionary day from work, so it actually became a really good self-care day. So I actually put a little note on that. And then during that self-care day, I managed to get all my laundry done. I spent an awesome day with my son because he had an in-service day. It was nice to play in the journal, and doing this testing was really invigorating and really re-energizing as far as journaling is concerned. And I actually managed to get some purchasing wins as far as getting Christmas done for 3 people on my list. So, as much as I'm just sort of like mashing stuff in together, and this page really got nice and crinkly from all the water, I love it because suddenly there's this organic feel to my journal. I feel like I'm putting some work into a journal, and I'm seeing it right away, right? Like, so as I go through this first notebook insert in my traveler's journal, that I'm going to see all, the pages start to get a little wrinkly. They're going to be all written in. There's going to be all kinds of things pasted into it. And I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice, fat, chunky journal by the time I'm done my first notebook. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to use this cardboard insert, or if I'm going to actually replace it with another one of these, or if I'm going to maybe, get more inserts, or maybe a different insert, maybe do a bullet insert or a lined one. We'll see. So the pages are ready for my December things. I've got my little doodle to color in on the next 6 pages here. And then I've got all these possibilities coming for the rest of the month. So I would definitely, if you haven't explored the traveler size, it's actually really nice. It's very compact. I mean, I love that it fits in the palm of my hand so well. And this is actually the larger size of traveler notebook. There's smaller ones than this. And I find that maybe this was just about the right size to jump into for me, because I was coming from using more of a letter size kind of notebook. This also forces me to be a little bit more concise with my journaling, and I think that's exactly what I need, is sort of like highlight my day, not record the whole day. But my particular trackers that I want to keep track of include household tasks, car maintenance, workouts, water intake, whether I'm taking 3 meals a day, as well as my bujo time. My ideas, as far as taking stock of my life, is sort of like making sure, I'm trying to aspire to a cleaner home. I want to make sure that I'm actually putting time into that every day, or as many days as possible next month. Car maintenance, making sure that, I'm taking care of the car, gassing it up, washing it, that kind of stuff. My workouts, I just want to make sure that I'm staying on track. Our lockdown has prevented us from going to the gym, so I'm doing work-ins, which is like basically workouts online. My water intake, I think I need to keep track of my water because I don't think I'm drinking enough. So I think this is going to contribute to my well-being, as well as making sure I have 3 balanced meals a day. And also, I want to be successful at my bujo. So putting in my bujo time as a tracker is to sort of see, make sure that I am actually on track. This is not meant to give me a hard time if I miss anything. It's to gather data so that I can sort of see whether or not I need to adjust things. So I think this new perspective on journaling is going to help me get her done. And I hope you guys agree. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys will tune in for more. And if you guys are having your own problems re-exploring your journal, I hope that you've some of these tips that I mentioned in the Craftsy course that I've taken in unlocking your planner potential, I hope that maybe it sort of stirs a little bit of something in you that will help you stay on track as well. Again, this is That Journal Guy, Richard here, wishing you an awesome day. I would urge you to journal on because this is an awesome tool for our lives, and I hope that you guys will come back for more. Hit subscribe, hit like, hit share, stay in touch with me so that you know what is new and happening here at That Journal Guy, and hit the little bell icon so that you're instantly notified when something new is uploaded. I will try to upload something in the next couple of weeks as I try to make a little bit more headway in this particular notebook, and I'll hope to share more progress with the new notebook. So again, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have an awesome day.